Sunday show. We're back every Wednesday, every Sunday, going live. Sunday night show presented by Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. Make sure you smash the like button. We got a lot to talk about. Willie Green, Zion Williamson. There's a lot to talk about. Let's do it.
First took away. Gas for this. Get your money's worth now.
Presented by the Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. You've been hurt in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore. Scott Vicknair handles it all. Give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. Always fight for the win. Is that my static? Who's got the static? Do y'all hear static?
I do not.
I heard it.
Is it good now? Are we good now?
We're good now. I think
we're good now. Sorry about that.
That might be Griffin.
Is it me?
I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Is it gone?
See, somebody. Let me see. Y'all talk.
Testing.
Yo. You hear anything?
Chris, maybe mute yourself. It might be you.
It's me.
Testing. It's
testing. Definitely Chris. No trauma. It's not. Okay, it's Chris. Sorry. Chris will fix it. All right, Jarrett. We'll start with you. A lot of reports going on with Zion Williamson, with Willie Green. Did a lot of phone calls this week. I can say this, Jarrett. They have not made a decision yet on Willie Green. I read some reports with Mark Stein today, and I think Dumars is actually going to take his. I do think Dumars is going to actually take his time and make a decision here, but I do think he's leaning towards Willie Green coming back for next year. First and foremost, obviously know your answer here about wanting to go a different direction with a head coach. But if Dumars does his due diligence, right, Jarrett, and he's like, okay, Willie, like he's going to be my guy here. Like, do you at least agree with that? Or do you think this is with a new president of basketball operations, he should just, rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of Willie Green and go and get his guy? Like, where do you think they stand here?
Yeah, my opinion is my opinion, right? On Willie Green, cool. I'm going to allow Joe Dumars to make this decision for himself. Cool. I hope he doesn't make this decision like within the week, though, right? You got nothing but time. Cool. I unlike the Pelicans organization itself on making the decision on Joe Dumars, hearsay, take as much time as you need to collect as much data on Willie Green as possible, and then make your decision. Now, you also have other coaches being snatched up by other organizations probably within that time frame. So move with a little haste, but don't make a rash decision, right? Understand pros and cons to it. I'm going to allow Joe Dumars, as he should have, the respect to make the decision on his own with his own process.
Do you think, Jared, back to this, but do you think he's asking current players thoughts on the head? Do you when we talk about doing his research, right? Do you think he's going to, ownership, or is he going to players and be like, look, what are your thoughts on Willie? Like, is this a whole collective? Is what I'm trying to get at.
See, there's two ways to think about this, though, right? Like, he has to ask the players their thoughts on Willie.
He has to.
Like, it's a must. But that can't be his deciding factor, that information from those questions. That's just gathering the information and then use all of the information to make the decisions. Zion's input, Trey's input, so forth and so on is not the deciding factor to it, but they are factors in it. That's all we're trying to say is use all of the information wisely to make your decision, not just those points.
Well said, Jared. Chris, back to that point. If he were to ask players, who do you think his top three, with the Zion stuff, I don't know, but who do you think his top three players he would ask, and his thoughts about Willie Green? Like, who do you think Joe Dumars would go to, the first three guys that he's reaching out to?
So, if there's confusion about Zion's, I mean, the easy answer will be Zion, but let's be creative here. Let's say that he doesn't even know which route he's going with Zion. Like, if you don't even know the future of said player, why even ask him? So the easy two would be, as of right now, CJ and Trey. And the third, I would assume, would be a veteran, even someone that maybe hasn't been here a long time, but got an opportunity to see a little bit.
Are you
Has
saying
been around with other
maybe?
coach Kelly Olynyk. That would probably be the third. Like, hey, you've been around other really good coaches. You've been around other places. You've been in winning organizations. You just got here. What are your thoughts on Willie? You know, that kind of setup.
You don't like. I don't disagree with you, but like I would think the first person he would have to go to is Zion Williamson. I think, and I know his future is a question mark, but I would have to, if I'm going to start this, I would have to go to my best player, like Zion. What are your thoughts on Willie? What's going on? What, Jared? Looks like you're.
Yeah, you know it. Something just hit me.
What?
He'd have to talk to CJ, and that might be the first person he talks to.
CJ would be, yeah.
And this is why he probably has a relationship with CJ. CJ, president of the players union, right? Like he has to talk to Joe Dumars. Like, you know, players doing dumb shit might want to talk to the president. Two presidents have conversations. They probably have an email chain with NBA signature, you know, like the Saints use. So like those two individuals have to have a relationship already. It's imperative.
No, that's a good point. But back to this.
Then
shit.
there's Herb. I mean, there's Herb. There's DeJounte. I mean, he has a bunch of different options.
He definitely does. But like I go back to CJ. Like, who knows if CJ's here at the end of the offseason? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter. I think they still like he would value CJ's opinion on certain individuals, right? Especially the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like okay.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I mean, let's say you're putting together a business plan. I might call Five and be like, Five, what you think about this? Five might not be necessarily a part of the plan. He might not be a part of the future. But if I trust Five's ability to, you know, forecast or build something like that, I'm just consulting with him. I'm asking him, regardless of what, and in Dumars' case, regardless of what CJ's future of the team with, he's somebody you have to ask, like no matter what.
Yeah, thinking about it, like he would have to be the first person. He would have to be the first person you're asking, and it's not a bad thing because CJ. I was going to ask you this, Jared, and then I want to hear Chris's thoughts. What do you think CJ would say?
The truth. First off, happy Easter, happy resurrection.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's cool.
And by the way, wait, before you answer that, Jared, we got to shout you out, bro. We got to shout you out in what you did in the Crescent City Classic. You hit your goal, 6.5 mile. I think you finished. What was the final time?
39:42 was the final time. 39.
Bro, that's impressive, man. Shout out to you. But go ahead. Thanks for saying that.
No, that's cool. But I think CJ would tell the truth, right? What Kendrick said, don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell no truths about you. I don't know what Willie Green and CJ's relationship is, but I know for sure CJ is going to tell the truth and what he actually believes about Willie Green now. Now, whether Joe uses that information again to make the decision, that's up to him. But I would think CJ will tell the truth and be super honest about Willie Green.
And there was that run-in last year, Chris, that no one really talked about, but there were reports of CJ and Willie getting into it at practice late in the season last year. And look, I've heard a couple things about Willie and what players think and what some other people think. But like, I do agree with you, Jared, but Chris, like, he's going to give you an honest answer. And I think he should be the first person you go to. But do you think CJ has anything positive to say about Willie from an X's and O's standpoint, not a human being standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint?
I'm sure there's something that he can point out that maybe we're not privy to. CJ, one of the reasons you go to CJ is because he's going to be objective more than likely about the answer. I don't expect him to be emotional either way about it. If you ask him give me the 100% truth, there will definitely be more negatives than positives, I would assume, about the X's and O's element of it. But I mean, if you ask him for something, I'm sure that there's something. Maybe there's an out of timeout play that or action that CJ likes. Maybe there's something when it comes to momentum that CJ enjoys about Willie. Maybe there's an element of basketball freedom that he enjoys. I don't know, but if there was anybody that I would assume would give an objective answer and maybe a political answer, it would probably be CJ.
So then, Chris, back to you. If Joe Dumars does his due diligence, say he gets 5 guys, say he has 5 guys, whoever he picks, 3 of them come back and say, you need to move on from 2, say, I like him as a head coach. Do you think he can go to ownership and be like, look, I talked to the majority of the players, talked to 5 guys that I trust. 3 said, let him go. 2 said he needs to stay. What do you think ownership would say?
Well, I mean, don't they have to allow him to make the decision?
I don't know, because this is where the problem, I think, really exists in this franchise.
Well, because I mean, if that was the case, like, wouldn't you? I mean, I would assume that that would be something that would be discussed, and maybe we'll learn more about it on Tuesday. Maybe at the press conference we'll be able to dissect, which I'm sure we will have a wonderful show about that. We will break down piece by piece. But maybe we'll get an opportunity to kind of see, by the way, we might not get the answer necessarily, but by the way some of the questions are answered. If Willie's at the press conference, with Joe Dumars, there's no way that he's not the coach, for better or for worse. To me, there's no way he's not the coach. That's Joe saying, this is our guy. So going forward, it's a bad decision. But on the flip side, Justin, if Joe goes in and says, right, I would have done some research. Look, I understand. I know you guys may not be ready, but this is what I need. According to them, like this is Joe Dumars. Now it may have been, we may be talking about 20 years since he's had a winning season, but they respected him enough to not do any interviews, to not do any research of their own. So if he decides to be the one for once that does some research in this goddamn organization, I think he has the right to say for ownership to give him the call on what happens with Willie one way or another.
Before we get to Jared's point, Chris, do you think Willie Green shows up on Tuesday?
Yeah, because I think he's going to be a coach.
Jared, go ahead. Welcome to the show, Ross. Hey, Ross. Welcome to the show. We'll get to you in a second. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's up, Ross? I was going to say, bro, how do we know that decision hasn't already been made? Like, before he got hired,
I didn't even think about
probably
that.
was already made. And to be honest, the fact that it hasn't, nothing's changed, he's probably the coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, it wouldn't surprise me if he was the coach, but if you're Joe Dumars, you're coming into this organization, you're trying to change things. Like, I would think the first thing you would do, I mean, it's going to be your decision, is to talk to players, be like, what are your thoughts on Willie Green? And if he comes back negative, because look, here's the thing, Jose doesn't talk well about him. If we had a private conversation, I don't think Trey's going to talk very good about him. I don't think Zion will talk very good about him. I'd be very shocked if DeJounte Murray talked very good about him. Those are your top 3 guys. Eves, can you really talk to E? Like, Olynyk, I think would hold some weight, and I think CJ would hold some weight. I think those are your 2 guys that I think could be an ultimate decision maker. But like Ross, this is what we're talking about. Pose an interesting question. When Joe Dumars Joe Dumars being introduced on Tuesday, do you think he's talked to any players about Willie Green and their thoughts on Willie Green? And if so, who do you think the top 3 guys he's already talked to?
Look, I like to think that he has, or he will. Like him or not, or think it was a good hire or whatever. From getting past that, there is an opportunity for Dumars to impart some of the aspects of his personality that people keep giving him credit for. This is the time, I think, to impart some of that respect into the role. So I like to think that he's going to treat it like the same way any other GM who got a job would, which would be to talk to the players that have either been here for a little while or players like CJ that are pretty well respected. So I probably think he has. And I mean, you would assume that him and CJ have some kind of relationship, just both like given the role, or at least have know of each other. You would assume that he's tried to reach out to Zion. And given the player that's under contract the longest is Trey, you would assume that he reached out to Trey. I mean, I truly think, and again, this doesn't necessarily mean I think he's going to do a great job. I don't know, but I do think that like Dumars is a professional, and and I'm going to give him that like benefit of the doubt until he like proves us otherwise. But I'm expecting a certain level of like professionalism, like ready to do the job. Now, whether you think he can or whether he's willing to change, all that stuff, forget it. But I do think he is like going to be prepared and handle it in like a responsible, professional way.
That's a perfect segue to our next segment here. We'll go expectations from Joe Dumars. Make sure you smash the like button. Chris, we'll start with you first, as you said. We'll go Chris Jarrett Ross. As you said, the press conference is Tuesday. What do you like? I think it's a big first. Your first impressions always. It's always big. Pause. God, that's brutal. What are you expecting from Joe?
Not what you just said. No. I think Joe probably senses how erratic of a situation or of organization, or fan base or following or history he's dealing with. And I would assume that he's probably going to come in and try to bring some sense of calm. I think he's going to try to stabilize. I think a lot of things that Ross mentioned, is great, right? Like he's going to be the adult in the room. I don't think he's going to come out and say any outlandish statements. He's not going to try to be a politician. He's not going to try to say any big words to go over your head. He's not going to try to sell you anything outside of what you're actually looking at. Joe's won on multiple levels, no matter how long ago it was. I expect him to be brutally honest and genuine. And I mean, we'll see what that is worth in regards to the actual job and what happens behind the scenes with Bryson and his ability to teach. Because I mean, and to be honest, Justin, I expect someone that I mean, he's not here for a 10-year run.
Right.
Joe's 62 years old, I believe. Like you're not bringing Joe Dumars in to just to for this 5-year rebuild of sorts, especially when he hasn't done this in a minute. I think you're going to bring him in for his connections, his presence, and his overall reputation when it comes to dealing with people. So, and I think if I had to guess, I think that will be his goal, will be some of the things that we'll be able to notice when he sits down Tuesday.
Go ahead, Jared.
Man, again, to Chris's point, I just hope he just comes in and tells the truth, right? Like, start off with the truth, right? Because I think this fan base has heard so many lies or promises that weren't kept, and word salads about nothingness. I just want Joe to tell the truth. And again, this is me saying this. It's a black man coming into a situation being asked to fix something that he didn't break. Time and time again throughout history, that continues to happen. But this is just another example of it. Joe probably walked in the building like, man, why y'all still sleeping on the floor? They got beds, right? Like, why y'all still doing things like this? Like, what is going on here? And he looking around like, oh, this is kind of how we've been doing it. This is what happens. So hopefully he actually impacts change. And I know it's going to be a super long process to do and to overcome, and obstacles to overcome. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's already won at multiple levels. He's been involved with the league and expanding the league. There's a multitude of things that anybody just around him could learn. I just hope the Pelicans can take advantage of that.
And that's well said between Chris and Jarrett. Like, Joe Dumars is a professional. I think I was watching y'all talk to Kushner the other night. Like, Dumars is very well respected. He's a professional. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a winner. Like, this dude, like, I don't have a problem. Like, we keep saying the problem's not Joe Dumars. And like a lot of people, of course, on Twitter who are just, well, it's neither here nor there. Like, they take it the wrong way. The problem's not Joe Dumars. We're going to give him his shot. Like, I want to see him turn it around. I think he actually can. The problem was the process. And I'm going to get to Stein's article here in a little bit, because he also mentions, just like what the Kings did. I saw one of y'all sent a comment with a handshake between Kings and Pelicans, like, of doing your due diligence, right? Well, there have now been reports that, and I've heard this too, that, the Pelicans made this decision 4 weeks ago. Like, Joe Dumars was president of basketball operations 4 weeks ago. Maybe they did their research then. I don't know. It just happened very quickly. And like, to what y'all were saying, I would have liked to see a little bit more thorough process instead of it being one of the friends of the ownership group. But Ross, what are your expectations from Joe? And do you believe in him? Do you think he can actually implement change and get this franchise where it's like an actual like a professional basketball team? Because under David Griffin, it was an absolute shit show, and we're gonna get into that. There was no accountability, like, across the board, across the entire board. There was no accountability. But go ahead, Ross.
Yeah, I kind of think you can. I mean, yeah, as far as the press conference goes, I think I have nothing additional to add other than basically what Chris and Five already said. I think he'll come in and not say anything crazy. I'm hoping for, because I saw one of the comments earlier said something along the lines of, like, was Griff not professional? And I know you said we'll talk about that. I think Joe Dumars is going to be totally different than Griff. And I think that's a 180 that can impact change. I really do. I think the thing that worries me for Joe is just, like, the actual decision-making part. Like, is he willing to delegate some of those things? Is he willing to like, let others work with him, and in some cases, like, for him, and do the parts of their job that they're probably, potentially very good at. But otherwise, like, I'm with you, Justin. Like, I was critical of the way the decision was made, but, like, I don't necessarily think it was the worst decision. In hindsight, like, I think it can work. I really do. And I'm certainly willing to give it a chance.
See, this is, and look, and you can have your own opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong, Omar. I'm just saying, like, the draft, like, look, you look at his history, it's bad. Like, I agree with you. He can't draft, but, like, it is hard to nail the draft. It's really fucking hard.
And
obviously,
Justin,
he had the Darko pick, but.
And this is the part that I think is very important, because these same folks, and I'm not just pointing out whoever said this,
Omar.
But these are a lot of times the same people that have been complimenting the previous, like the David Griffin era, which basically everyone is still there, of how great they drafted, and finding Eves and finding Herb and finding Trey and finding Jose and all these people everybody wants to give you credit for. Well, like, all of the people that found them are, as far as I understand, still in the building. So, like, either give Joe a shot or don't. But, like, holding his feet to the fire over this draft and saying, we knew he couldn't do it. To me, that's you're going in, like, if that's your mentality right now, then you're going to get exactly what you think you're going to get out of this, which is not very much.
Positivity on this show, it's crazy. Go ahead,
Ross. Who drafted Anthony Bennett?
I believe that was Mr. Griffin.
Okay, all right. And then, what the fuck are we really talking about, bro? Like, it's a crapshoot with the draft. It's a total crapshoot. And if the guys that are doing the research, and that's why I always judge teams based on the later picks, right? Because the top two, well, top 3, 4, 5, right? Those are almost a given on any given year, right? You can find really good, high talented people. Yeah. That we could talk about the Darko pick. That wasn't necessarily on Joe, and that's, like, been well documented.
Yep.
That was almost like an ownership deal, not just Joe picking it. But for that being said, like, you judge teams and their ability to draft on them being able to hit on the second round picks or the mid first round picks to late 20s. Like, That's real scouting. That's real development. That's real, like, okay, this is what we do well. This is what we're trying to do. That's how you really, grade a team on how they draft and development.
And can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go. One more thing. Shout out Lito.
Shout out Lito for sure. The reason that I'm willing to like give this hire a chance is because if you'd have asked me before, hey, what's more important, go and get an expert or go and get a leader? I think this organization needs a leader way more than they need an expert, a draft expert or any of that stuff. And so I'm potentially willing to acknowledge and accept that maybe Joe isn't the world's best in some of those things, but I'm expecting him to be a better leader than Griff was. And I think that's going to be more important in the long run.
Yeah. Agreed with that. Damn, I actually had a question. I just completely blanked. Make sure you smash the like button. What'd you
Somebody said, I think it was Donald. Hopefully Donald's playing. He said ownership wanted diversity. Listen, apparently the other side of diversity wasn't working. So, we got.
Oh, that's what it was.
Okay,
that's what I wanted to ask. Sorry. I mean, what happens? Whoever wants to answer this question first, Chris. Like, I just will Chris. Then we'll go Jarrett. And then Ross.
Okay.
What happens to Swing Cash? What happens to Bryson Graham? Like, what happens? Because look, I've talked to a lot of people. Most of the coach staff don't know what's going on. They don't. They're in limbo. They don't know if they're coming back. They don't know. I'm telling you, they don't know. What do you think happens now, though, with the higher ups of the swing cashes of the world, the Bryson Grahams? Because look, I personally want Bryson to stay. I want to see what he can do with this draft because, he did great with Eves, and I think he did great with Antonio Reeves. And that took some. Me and Jared talked about that. That took some foresight to see Antonio Reeves to trade back in the second round. That was a great move. Do you think at least Bryson will retain the general manager role?
I think so. A lot of people in the Pelicans building seem to have high praise for Bryson. So if we're talking about an organization or ownership group that has been in contact with Joe for a while, I'm sure Joe probably has some type of relationship with Bryson, to be honest. It's not like Joe's walking it off the street, right? Like, he knows a lot of these faces and a lot of these people. And that's why, now that I think about it, I don't know how much there is for him really to evaluate at this point. I kind of feel like if there were going to be any personnel changes, we may have already heard about them happening.
Or do you think they've not gone public yet? Maybe they haven't gone public yet, but they've informed.
Yeah, but you gotta feel like we would have heard something by now.
I know I'll tell you the coaches, no clue.
I got you, but I guess you gotta expect Joe to bring in some people that he trusts, right? Some people from maybe his days in Detroit or maybe Sacramento, somebody else in the building that he wants around. Now, I don't know what those people are going to look like, but when you think about almost every recent change that I can think of this organization doing, whether it was coaching or whether it was the executive role, they hardly ever clean house. So maybe one person leaves, maybe Swin, but you should bet every time that a good majority of these people are going to leave from the coaching staff. It doesn't matter. They tend, at least for that first year, they tend to hold on to a lot of people from the same, the previous regime. So I don't expect any major change. Maybe one person leaves, but I just can't see it from what their history would tell me.
Well, Jared, I know that he was interested in bringing over who I'm forgetting them, blank on the name, but the Kings.
Scott Perry.
Yeah, Scott Perry, right? So they worked in Detroit. He was interested in bringing Scott Perry over, I think, to be who knows what. You're not with Dumars, at least you're not gonna get made up titles that Griffin made up, like it's fucking Dunder Mifflin over here. But Jared, do you think that Bryson can stay? And then also, if he does stay, do you think that Joe will, put some faith and some trust with Graham and be like, look, you're the general manager. You're making the decisions. I'm not going to be David Griffin. I'm here to oversee everything. This is your gig. You go.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, Joe Dumars does not strike me as a man that gives out his trust easily, right? Like that's something that you have to earn. So it might be a time where, okay, say Bryson stays, like he's gonna have to prove it to Joe. I think if you have a president of basketball, what isn't that the title that he has, right? President of basketball
Sure.
operations.
Yeah, I guess so.
We still don't okay. We still
Yeah.
haven't got a clear explanation on that. But like whatever his position is, if he's overseeing Bryson, like that tandem has to be like super connected. And I think early on it might be some growing pains. It might be some tough conversations that need to happen, which is going to be good for Bryson. But as is, that's saying Bryson's going to stay, right? Like that's saying that they choose Bryson. They're gonna nurture Bryson again. I think he's been around the team 15 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think this is his 15th year. Yep.
Why give up on an investment like that? Like if it's working out, continue to nurture it to a point where it can bear some fruit, right? I don't think Bryson's been bad at his job. I just don't think he's been given the responsibility truly to struggle and succeed at his job.
Yeah. All right. Ross, we'll start with you. It's a new segment here. Make sure you smash the like button. About 170 people in here on a Sunday night talking about one of the worst teams in the league. So appreciate y'all. Always somehow show out. Even during WrestleMania, NBA playoffs. So stay here. So once again, now we have 170 people in here. We're going live in the off season on Wednesday and Sunday. Next week, though, we will be live Tuesday night breaking down the Joe Dumars press conference. Like we did with David Griffin. It won't be a total shit show. So hopefully there's some professionalism there. Ross, I'll start with you here. Multiple reports saying, and this is where it gets shaky for me, that the Pelicans were planning on trading Zion Williamson, keeping Willie Green. Look, Zion's been absolute. Like he's been a major letdown in these first 6 years. Major letdown. There's no denying that. But if the decision is two-time All-Star versus a coach, I'm 100 out of 100 times I'm taking the two-time All-Star. And I feel like right now, Ross, it's a Zion versus Willie thing here. And Mark Stein came out with an article today saying early word out of New Orleans is that Dumars wants to evaluate his new situation fully before deciding to outright shop Zion Williamson. That said, organizational exasperation with Williamson, as you can imagine, is plenty tangible after the former number one overall pick failed for the fourth time in his 6 NBA seasons to surpass 30 games played. That's fair. You want to talk about on the court stuff? Totally fine. We've heard reports where ownership doesn't like his off the court antics. I don't care. I truly just don't care about his off court antics. I don't want to talk about it. But if you're talking about on the court, then we can have dialogue about this. But he continues to say, as such, there's skepticism. Wow, messed that one up. In some corners of the league, that the Pelicans will actually persist with Williamson as their franchise centerpiece, especially if they are fortunate enough to come away with the number one pick in the May draft lottery. I guess thoughts on trading Zion Williamson first, and then what Stein had to say.
Given, like, I guess these reports, it would be, I think, discouraging for me if they traded him before he played any games like next year, right? This is, I think, as far, like I said this on the last show, I think it's the first time I can remember him going into an offseason with like no injury designation, in theory. And, again, this is where the Joe Dumars things matters for me. If you're telling me that he's a leader and that he's going to hold people accountable and that he's going to bring a new, like a more demanding rigor to the whole organization, then you absolutely have to give him an opportunity to do that with your, with this special talent before you force a trade on. I mean, for me, that would change the entire way I look at this hire. If he trades, because I think if he trades him this summer, he would have been, they basically forced him as part of taking the job to trade Zion Williamson this summer. So it would be a bad outcome for me. Like, do the job, show me that you can create a relationship with the player. And then if it doesn't work, cool. Because for me, that's like, Joe, you have a blank slate. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then you can in full transparency say, hey, look, he had been here for 6 years. Before I got here, we did everything we could. It didn't work. Like, it just, either we can't keep him healthy, or he's, to be honest with it, he's not devoted enough to his craft to stay, whatever you want to say. We don't think he can be the franchise centerpiece. We have a long rebuild ahead, whatever. He can literally say anything he wants, but you have to give it a chance. Because I think the alternative to not giving it a chance is basically starting over. And a start over might be necessary at some point, but I feel like you've got to see if you can get the most out of that before you just, and that's what, like, that term outright shop him made me nervous, because that makes it seem like they already told you to shop him. And then now you're saying, now it's like, it's almost like,
do you think Joe's like fighting back a little bit with ownership? Like, whoa. Let me sit down with Zion first. Let me talk.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough to answer that question with any like level of knowledge. My opinion is that edict might have existed, and now they're trying to like collectively walk it back.
Chris, go ahead and Jared.
Nice vocabulary there, Ross. Nice, man.
I appreciate that. Been working on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you asking me? Ross said eat it, bro. And my mind just it went. I'm sorry, man.
Wasting your time, drinking that wine, smoking that smoke and doing that coke, dealing that dope, giving up hope. School is a joke. Gang banging.
School isn't a joke. That's what
It's just the gang banging. That needs to be a t-shirt. Gang banging. Go ahead, Chris.
What? Okay.
So with the Mark Stein report. With the Mark Stein report, I can't believe he just goes gang bang. Like, why does? Well, I know, but I'm just repeating what he said. What's up?
No,
Joe,
man,
what's up, Joe?
It need to be on the t-shirt. What's up? What's up, little
It
beans?
does.
Little beans.
Little beans.
Little beans. All right, Chris. Mark Stein reporting about Zion Williamson and Joe Dumars trying to, I guess, rekindle the relationship and see what Zion is about. Do you think that Joe actually believes this team is better off with Zion Williamson off the team?
He has to. I mean, Joe played with Dennis Rodman. Like, Joe's played with some people that he's had to be a part of keeping together. Rick Mahorn, Bill Laimbeer, Mark Aguirre. Look, man, and that's just as a player. Like, I mean, hey, man, look.
Dude traded for Rasheed Wallace.
There you go. Perfect. So cool. Like, Joe has to walk in here like, you ain't gonna be a fuck up under my watch. Like, it gotta at least be a year. It got like there's nothing that would make sense about this whole ordeal. Nothing. And I'm just talking about as a complete organization. They will not. But I mean, I guess that would be quite New Orleans Pelicans. But you trade Brandon, like Ross said, the first year we're not talking about him coming back from an injury, and you're not giving it. You wouldn't give it 1 year to see what that looks like when you have one guy in Trey Murphy who we don't know when exactly he's gonna play. Even though we've been hearing some positive things. We don't know if he's going to start the year. We don't know if Herb's going to start the year. DeJounte's not going to start the year. And you're gonna trade Zion and just basically punt, because that's what you're doing. Essentially, which if that's the organizational plan, I'm with it. If you're saying we are just gonna punt, we are in a situation that we cannot kick down the road any longer. We cannot continue to run from our destiny, which needs to be taken at some point. Mm-hmm. Cool. But if you trade Zion because you're being emotional in the moment, or I mean, I get it, bro. He's a headache. He's immature. He has some unprofessional ways, but he's also fucking generational, man. And so much of what they did by trading Brandon, so many things that we saw at the end of last season was about finding ways to maximize Zion and really seeing what the fuck this looks like when it's just him on the floor. You've wasted 6 years already. You can waste another. And there's a lot of worse situations and worse players you can waste another year on than Zion Williamson. Everybody don't want to hear that. I know people want to talk about all the things that he can't do. But you are the New Orleans Pelicans. These things don't go as easy as you want them to go. And once again, Joe Dumars is like 62, 63 years old. Like, right. What's the point of bringing in someone like Joe to tank the first year that he's here, or to trade away his best option? For what? Why do that? Especially at not getting whatever the hell top value is for Zion. Give it at least a year, see what it looks like. You can trade Zion whenever. But there's just something about right now that just don't make sense to me.
Nor do I want that to be Joe Dumars' first move as an executive. This is what I mean, taking bullets for my dog, taking bullets for people that don't deserve it.
Hold on. Hey, what's up, Chaz?
What up, bro?
Don't put black people on the front line like that. This ain't South Park, the movie where they put the black people in. If y'all ever watched that, bigger, longer, uncut. But that's to say, we talking Zion versus Willie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we looking at this, right, and saying, like, when they suspend people or suspend players, there's always like some kind of conduct detrimental to the team, right? Like, that's always the term that they use. Whose conduct has been more detrimental to the team? Has it been the organization or has it been Zion? I would lean more towards the organization and not Zion. This is more of an organizational problem than a Zion problem. And you picking Willie Green over Zion, I think that's ludicrous in either way. But if you're Joe Dumars, you got to look at this, take a step back and be like, okay, who's at fault here? Is it Zion or is it the organization? Everybody has their own faults, but you can say the organization didn't help or give Zion any favors by being so trash. So that's how I kind of look at it.
Jared,
one more thing.
Shout out
Lito.
One more thing.
If you know, and another thing about Joe, if you know Joe's history as an executive, he's a fixer, for better or for worse. In his mind, he believes he can fix anybody. Josh Smith, Brandon Jennings, and Rasheed Wallace. But some of these players that he's drafted, I'm not talking about Darko.
Chauncey had been on 5 teams and hadn't done anything.
Yes, Chauncey. He always believes. Even he traded Jerry Stackhouse to get Rip Hamilton. That wasn't necessarily fixing, but Joe likes to gamble. Joe likes to take risk. And I mean, when you're talking about it ain't much of bigger risk in the league right now, or period, than Zion. But that nothing about what I've seen Joe do as an executive, being alive for his run, the good and the bad, would tell me that Allen Iverson, like, the list goes on and on with him. Nothing about what I know about him would say the first thing he's gonna do when he gets here is trade Zion Williamson. Nothing about it.
Chaz, welcome to the show.
Oh, what up, fellas?
How you doing?
I'm guessing this is I'm guessing we talk about Joe Dumars and the mandates, the quote unquote mandates, right?
Well, I guess we talked about the expectations from Joe Dumars, and we talked about the Mark Stein report today. That was on the group chat. But I want to ask Jared before I get your thoughts on this, Chaz, because I want to ask you another question, because we had heard that ownership wanted to trade him because of the off the court antics, and I wanted to ask you this: like, how is it fair for this ownership to have issues with Zion's off the court issues, and you're going to trade him, but don't Deshaun Watson? We already know about the other stuff. By the way, the Saints lead the NFL in arrests the last couple of years. 7 players arrested, lead the NFL. So how is this ownership? Because Zion Williamson's having issues with with females, this right here. This is the line.
Yeah, wait,
You got any
this
more?
is the same ownership they got the situation with the church.
Yeah, there's a situation
covering
too. So,
with the emails.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is
So that's my problem. Like you can talk about his like missing 70 games a year and all this other kind of shit, or whatever, it's 50 games a year. But like, don't come out here and say you're gonna trade him because he has off the court issues. When, well, fuck, so do y'all. But go ahead.
Oh, all right. That's just another example of the pot calling the kettle black. Like you over here telling me that Zion is he's out here doing whatever he's doing, but he's not really doing anything that's making it's not harming anybody. Truthfully, I mean, some people got hurt, but that wasn't his fault. You know what I mean? That's not his fault technically. Those are 2 grown individuals or 3 grown individuals doing grown-up things, making grown-up decisions. You know what I mean? That ain't got nothing really to do with the Pelicans anyway. Like,
Has nothing to do with anything.
I've been in situations like that before, and
Here
We
go.
go ahead.
No, we fine. Leo's gonna be upset.
my job ain't never called, hey, Jared, you might want to, like, no, because nobody cares that much. But yeah, I don't know. The Pelicans have they have a weird way of being concerned about things when they want to be concerned about it. Right? They had this notion of like apparently like they're the almighty. They can do no wrong when they got skeletons in their closet too.
Yeah. Chaz, get to your thoughts here about Mark Stein's report saying, I'll read it again. Mark Stein came out with an article today.
I ain't gonna lie, Justin, you don't need to read it.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
I don't think Mark said anything, honestly.
Nothing.
I think Mark kind of aggregated a lot about kind of what's been happening. Respect to Mark, but I didn't think Mark said anything really noteworthy. Truthfully, nothing, especially nothing we haven't said. But as far as the Zion issue, shout out to Theos. As far as the Zion issue, it's like it was last season. I just came from the movies, right? So I'm a little turned up because I knew this movie was gonna be disappointing, but I was just like, let me give
Someone
it.
said you were watching WrestleMania, Chaz.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on WrestleMania.
I knew Chaz in a bad mood. Go ahead, Chaz.
I did not think you were. I thought you let the hype kind of.
Oh no, I'm not one of them.
A little bit and go.
No, well, you know what? It wasn't the hype that got me to go. It was more like, all right, like to me, this director is 0 for 3 with me. So I had low expectations going in, and I was just like, damn, they was already low, and you kind of just
so basically just like the Pelicans. There you go.
Pelicans,
yeah,
right?
Literally.
Right.
Literally.
But what happened? All right, so last season, there was a lot of stuff with Angel Reese and what's the other chick? Caitlin, what's her name? Caitlin Clark, right? So while all that was going on, it's cool because you like Angel Reese, right? Angel Reese, champion. Got the it factor, easy on the eye. I'm just keeping it real, speaking for myself, easy on the eye, right? And out of nowhere, Kennedy Carter, if that's how you say her name, she chimed in, right? Now, I didn't agree with Angel Reese, but I was willing to hear Angel Reese out because Angel Reese can play and she's good looking. But Kennedy Carter needs your ugly ass the fuck up. I don't want to hear nothing from your ugly ass. You stay in your place, right? You shut up. You don't say nothing about Caitlin Clark. You shut up. You ain't got nothing to do with this. With Zion, see, if Zion was playing, I don't think no one would give a fuck. But it's the fact that he never plays. Even if he was playing like okay, even if he wasn't like superstar level playing, but he was playing all right, people would be like, cool, whatever, it happens. He's young. It is what it is. But the fact that this motherfucker never plays and it's been just one weird thing after another, because it ain't just been like normal fuckery. Like if he was getting DUIs and shit, I think people would be like, yeah, get him some help. He'll be okay.
Chaz, can you explain to our viewers what normal fuckery is?
Like DUIs, fights in the club, smoking weed. If it was something stupid like that, no one would care. But you having all these freak offs with these deformed looking women, right? No, it's like, bro, it get to a certain point where it's like, and look, these just the confirmed freak offs. These ain't the rumored freak offs, because the rumored freak offs, man.
We ain't no motherfucking freaks. We some family men. We getting it paper. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like the like, come on, man. So it's like
we got baby oil sponsors.
Hey, and this is the thing. It's like, bro, it's just, if you was just playing, no one would care. Like Anthony Edwards, he got a major scandal going on right now. No one cares. No one fucking cares. He just crossed the fuck out of Rui the other night. I'm like, dude, this dude's phenomenal. No one cares. You can do what you want to do when you're good and available, but you can't. If you ugly, you can't talk about Caitlin Clark. If you never plan, you can't be seen with these deformed women on the bench looking stupid, like just every. Well, talk about my teammates. I love it here. This man, come on, man. It's not a talent issue. Not a talent issue. It's an availability issue, though.
Chad, stop.
That was unbelievable.
Stop now. That was what is going?
How is he good at this?
Lala, can you somehow clip that part out so we can get it?
I don't even know what y'all talking about. What happened?
Hold on. Clear out. ISO. Dude, we need five. I need you to get in your reporter bag real quick. Okay. I need you to ask Zion Williamson a question, and I need Zion Williamson, because he's on the show right now, to answer. I don't want to, Justin. I'm sorry. I know we got another segment. This shit gotta pause.
That's totally
quick.
fair.
Go ahead.
That's totally fair.
Go ahead.
Is it basketball related?
Whatever you want to do.
Bet. Hey Zion, tonight you had 26, 8, and 5. But you didn't get to the free throw line a lot. Can you talk about the frustration of not being able to get to the line, although you play a lot of play a lot of your game in the paint?
Coach told me don't worry about it. Talked to my dad. I don't know, man. I'm just out there to compete. It's a physical game of runs, and you got to go out there and execute.
He got like the face. Yeah, like that's excellent, Chad.
That's he's still going.
And dude, I don't know, man. But it's like, if you play, bro, no one cares.
We gotta.
If you play Zion, no one cares, bro. But he's making it easy on the Pelicans. He's making it easier for people to rationalize the decision, and that's the issue. Because go ahead.
Well, sorry, Chad. Do you think Dumars actually trades Zion? Just say fuck. Like, do you think he actually trades him?
This is the point I wanted to mention about Dumars. Man, I don't know if that Dumars of old who like to gamble. I don't know if that's the guy you're getting, because this Dumars seemed like he came here to retire and just collect. They got that guy who retires, but he still kind of works under the table. He just shows up and shit. Like, yeah, this used to be my office. Like, Dumars, I don't know, man. I don't know if his intentions are like, I want to win. I don't know if it's like, hey, I get to retire in New Orleans. It ain't my home necessarily.
Welcome home, Chaz.
Yeah, welcome home. I'm from like 8 hours away, but still home adjacent. Fuck, I played here. Then it's like 8 hours is far, dog. Like, I ain't gonna lie, you can get to Houston faster. You can get to motherfucking Shreveport, but that's neither here nor there.
And what else? I'm still thinking about the Zion impression. That was just impressive.
Hey, I did have something to talk about, Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you got to figure this out. I was thinking about Griff's like last year, right? And Griff needed Zion. And it was super apparent to him that he needed Zion, because ownership He must because he wanted to make the move from Willie Green to Borrego in December, according to reports, right? Like that happened. And when he found out that they said no, the writing was on the wall. So he couldn't get rid of Willie himself. He needed somebody else to do it. And I think we talked about this before. I mean, we said this multiple times, but usually Griff would come out and speak to the media. Like he would purposely, if like things were going like super bad, he'd try to calm things down. Like he didn't do that at all. Almost as if like, okay, I can't do it anymore. I can't get out of this one. Like I need somebody else to help me. And it was Zion, and he couldn't get on Zion's good side, enough to make like an effort to change. And I thought that was super interesting to, if you just go back and look, like Griff didn't say anything. Like he didn't come out publicly. He might have leaked some stuff, but he never said anything. And that's so unlike.
But we question, and it's funny, Jerry, you say that because we questioned that a lot there in the second half, like in the first half into the second half of the season. We questioned that a lot, and now, you know, we're here, and it's like, damn. Appreciate all the super chats, by the way, guys. I see all the super chats, all the comments. About 200 people in here. Make sure you smash the like button here on a Sunday night. Appreciate y'all. We'll do one more segment, and then we'll get to fan questions, comments. Once again, since we have 200 people in here, we go live now Wednesdays and Sundays in the off season, but we will be live Tuesday night breaking down the Joe Dumars press conference, which will be happening Tuesday. All right, let's talk about Zion trade partners, Chris. Say Dumars meets with them, and we're done. You don't have to get into specifics, but give me a team. Good trade partner. Shout out to you.
Yeah, so I think Joe, since he's known for being old school, the first thing he gonna do is say, "You going over, like this gonna be NFL style, like you going to the Eastern Conference. You're not gonna be in the Western Conference, like you going fuck over there." So I think there's a few teams that you got to look for, right? Like number one, whatever team it is, they have to have an established one. Like they have to have an established star of their franchise. So who would be willing to take on that gamble, can provide something back for the Pelicans, but already have, even if it's not a core, they have a number one option. So Orlando is somebody off the top of my head that I could think of that would make sense. I think I'm intrigued by someone like Detroit because, we talked about how much, when the Brandon Ingram stuff was going around, well, we haven't heard Trajan Langdon in Detroit involved. Well, how does Trajan feel about Zion? I think you would find out with something in regards to that. It would be ironic. Joe Dumars' first trade or first moving Zion to team he played for and used to run a team like that. I could see Chicago, but they don't have. I mean, I wouldn't say that they have a number one option. Maybe the Hornets, but the two teams that I can think of off top, outside of a surprise, at least in the Eastern Conference, would be Orlando and Detroit. The Western Conference is all over the fucking place, man. Yeah.
So say give me one team. You rattled off five. They give you a top two. So
yeah.
I like that. Bro, we'll go Ross, Jared, and Chaz. Go ahead, Ross.
I think Zion is more of. I don't think it would be a losing team. I think good teams would say, "Oh, these people are dumb enough. Like, let me go catch somebody slipping." What's the line? See a fool, play a fool type situation. I think you're dealing with somebody like Boston.
Billboard for that.
I think you're dealing with somebody that thinks they're about to get an asset that they never should get for cheaper than they could get, and possibly, given Zion's salary, could save money in the process.
Yep.
I really think you're looking at somebody like that. I mean, Luka got traded to the Lakers. Gobert, whether you think he's not on that level or not, Gobert went to a team, and then the very next year they go to the conference final. Like, there are players of a certain ilk. Bridges went to New York. Like there are players of a certain level where you're not going to like crap teams. Like if you're of a certain level, the good teams are saying, "Oh wait, you might be able to help me get to a title or more titles." And I think he falls into that category.
Damn, Boston, interesting. Jared.
One team, Chris, you fucking said all of them, but
right off the whole Eastern Conference. So you got no Eastern Conference teams left.
To be honest, although they don't have anything the Pelicans would want, it was Chicago for me. It was Chicago. It just, for some reason, I could see Zion wanting to get to Chicago if possible. If the conversation between him and Joe Dumars, I'm pretty sure if it happens and they're like, okay, where would you want to go? I don't know if he'd actually, talk about that. But if he were able to give him landing destinations, I think Chicago is on that list.
Yeah. Ross, but I want to go back to you for a second before we get to Chaz. You mentioned Boston. Who would you get in return?
Hadn't thought about it like to that level yet, but you saw the one comment. I mean,
Jaylen
Brown. I think that's the type of deal you'd be looking at.
Okay. Chaz, go ahead.
I think maybe the Warriors, because what's going on with Kuminga and stuff like that. Whatever to me, it's gonna be whatever you get to me, it's gonna be like an Anthony Davis type. What I mean by Anthony Davis type is you're not gonna get a player that you're in love with. It's always gonna be a guy that you're just like, well,
if everything breaks right.
Yeah, could he be all NBA third team? Like it's gonna be some shit like that. Like to me, that's why you really just don't trade him personally. I think you just go down with the ship, though, because you're never gonna replace the talent. You're not a serious team anyway. What do you really have to gain?
Because Chaz, what if just say he goes off and plays 70 games and he gets an all-star and you rebuild his whole, like you rebuild him back up? Like, do you think there's an all-star game in the future for Zion Williamson, whether it's here or somewhere else?
Yes, but to me, I'll also say this. The Pelicans are in a situation where you almost do better cutting them than trading for some, because you're not going to get nothing good via trade. Like if you look at like Golden State or even Boston, you're going to get the fucking 31st pick, 30th pick, you're going to get a terrible pick. With some of these like the Nets, you want Nick Claxton? Like who you want? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's why it's like for a player like that, and by them, shout out to Griff, man. Griff playing dirty and leaking this to the press almost immediately. You have little to no leverage. And I think you also in the position of, well, God forbid Zion so saying, you know what? I don't like how I'm being treated around here. I do want to get the fuck out of here. And now it's like a whole another situation. So
right.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Chat.
It's looking bad.
Chat, should the Pelicans keep or trade Zion? I want to hear y'all's thoughts about it. We should have done a poll, but all right, so the fan questions, comments, hour 3 in. Make sure you smash the like button. Once again, we'll be live on Wednesdays and Sunday nights in the off season, but we'll be live Tuesday night for the Joe Dumars. Presser Michael, appreciate the super chat. I don't see Zion being traded this year. Yeah, I don't think he should be either. It'd be idiotic, and I know this ownership loves their money. If you trade Zion Williamson, season tickets and every merch and everything will just go.
I want to ask y'all something. Like with the prospect of trading, because we can't, like, we've been here before. Like we've heard how close Zion was to being traded to Portland. So what I don't understand is, all right, you trade him, then what? Right? And and then it's like, if the offers are so bad, do you trade him no matter what? Like, would you take a Raptors like deal for Zion?
No. Like, that's my thing, Chaz. Like, they know with at least Zion, you can like sell tickets. You can sell merch. You can, players, bro, like people want to go see Zion. They don't want to go see Willie Green coach. To this out the other night. Like, no one's going to see, you don't want to see Zion Williamson. So this ownership group, who is greedy as fuck, you're telling me you think the best bet is for you, and I've never seen this amount of season ticket holders be like, I'm not renewing this year. I'm not renewing this year. I'm not renewing this year. You're telling me you're going to trade Zion Williamson and risk losing a shit ton of money? I don't think so.
The crazy part would be if they waited till I don't know when renewals end. But remember, like they didn't like the Willie Green extension was kind of put out after everyone kind of renewed their season tickets already. So it would be funny if they like do this real push for the renewals and then they trade them. That would be funny.
Nah, bro, that is something ownership would do. All right, let's get some more super chats. Appreciate you, DJ Trauma Gaming. 5-piece Anther failed. Another failed hiring. I feel like annual in Dumb and Dumber. Another failed hiring. Of course, the guy from the NBA office going to take a guy that won a Coach of the Year. Also dicing up for MIP and Defensive Player of the Year. Smells like Saints in here. Ross, thoughts?
I don't know if I'm following. The guy from the NBA office going to take a guy that won a Coach of the Year. What explain that? What am I?
Maybe it means Coach of the Month. Willie won Coach of the Month once for this in December. No, maybe that's what he means. I really don't know.
Okay. So I think he's talking. The guy from the NBA office has to be Joe Dumars,
right?
Yes. But who won Coach of the Year?
I don't. I mean, we have to assume that this is Willie Green at this point. We just, for the sake of the argument, let's just say it's Willie Green.
God damn it! If Johnny had 4 apples,
let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that he's saying we're gonna fill in the blank here. That's Joe Dumars and Willie Green. Of course, Joe Dumars, who worked for the NBA, Ross, is gonna take Willie Green as his head coach. Of course he is. Of course, it's another failed hiring. Also, Dyson is up for most improved and
of course he wants to read this part.
It smells like It smells like the Saints in here, Ross. God damn.
Hey, look, there's. I'm not even going to address that the top line because I still can't make heads or tails of it. But the bottom is interesting because that does smell a little bit like the Saints. I mean, you got who the white dude that went to Cincinnati.
Oh,
Trey went crazy.
Oh, I was sick of that.
Other dude that went to the Eagles.
A bunch of them.
So yeah. I mean, hey, if I'm Zion, I'm seeing that saying,
yeah.
Let me see if I can.
Ross, the bottom butt seems what?
Thank you.
Oh, it's a Kenny.
It's like the head shake and like the eyebrow shit too. Yeah, that bottom seems interesting. What the fuck going on here?
Oh,
talking about Zion afterwards.
Oh, thank Coach Harbaugh. Fucking love you, man.
I'm still upset we changed the pause button from that clip. I missed that clip a lot. All right, let's get some more super chats. DJ Trauma Gaming, and again, appreciate the 5-piece. Our Brain Benson Enterprises.
See, it's times like this when I'm sad. I let Jared off. Jared said something so egregious earlier, and I let him off the hook. And now, now I regret letting him off the hook from earlier.
Yeah.
But I made a mental note. I learned. That was a quick lesson learned right there.
DJ Trauma
Quick lesson learned.
Our Brain Benson Enterprises Gale is poisoned. Therefore, a whole body is full of sickness. Both limbs, Pelicans and Saints have similar issues.
Wait, we need to get there needs to be a template. If you're gonna get something, these are like. I feel like I need a PhD to understand.
Shout out DJ Trout. DJ Trout is a goat.
Can we add the bouncing ball like on the?
And 2 wings on the same bird of prey, man.
Shout out to DJ Trauma Gaming, man. Y'all leave him.
We gotta get him a package. We gotta get him. DM us. We have to
get him a what?
When I said it, it was. It's been work.
We'll get the button. Oh, thank the Lord. Oh, thank Coach Harbaugh. Fucking.
Yo, I want to ask y'all. Y'all noticed that Gail like actually came out and addressed how people felt about her hiring Joe Dumars. Like, what do y'all make of that?
I think I'm glad you said that because I thought about that too. Because it seemed like it was done very much on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like because it was almost a weird thing to include at the end of her of that statement they put out. that part about where this wasn't done in haste or whatever. It was like that seemed almost directly in response to all of the people that were like, "Hey, the ink ain't even dry on old boys, on old boys firing papers, and you already hired somebody like this. Don't seem like you did any interviews." It seemed like it was a direct response to that. I mean, which means they do hear the noise.
Yeah, Griff still had baby oil on the seat. And
Jesus Christ. Griff like, damn, y'all been cheating on me this whole time?
The whole time.
With Joe Dumars?
The whole time.
He found out right away, too. It was like, and you got to go.
And the crazy part is like the two worst organizations in the NBA, arguably sports, did the same exact thing.
Move.
And the people who they hired were all in concert with one another. So they picking from the same bad options.
Stein reported that the Kings.
Crazy.
Stein reported that the Kings were interested in Dumars too.
Dog, you know what's wild, bro? What's the owner of the Kings?
Vivek or something like that.
So he came to a game. Remember, like, apparently when we play the Kings, like there's like almost like it feels like a big game for some reason. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the Smoothie King Center when I was covering, and him, Gail, Griff, their GM, they were like all together. Like before the game, I found that like super, not like weird, but like almost like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, cool. They owners, they're executives. I'm pretty sure they know each other. But the fact that they were meeting on the court, like, y'all motherfuckers couldn't meet in the suites or something like.
I don't mean this in a fucked up way, but that's why you got to watch who your girlfriends are. If your girl got a lot of single dumb friends, bitch, to be like, yes, who say yes all the time? Like, nah, you can't hang with her because she gonna turn you single too.
With ass?
Bitch say yes and exactly and clock it and stuff like that. I don't like that hood rat literature. I don't like all that hood ratchery around my lady, my queen. Bitch, you gonna be single with her.
None of that yo.
Yeah, none of that yo shit. Y'all gonna be living in efficiency together. Y'all, you bring this bird around me again. But that's what Gail, you hanging around all these nincompoops. And so they got way more money than you. They can afford to fuck up. Your dumb ass, you just like,
don't settle. Go hard on them dudes. Everybody's trying to play the right way. Salute.
I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you.
Can't believe
I'm not even joking. I need a pulpit right now. I'm being real. But go ahead.
Fire Willie Green, $10. Gail loving Willie is no surprise.
Period. I'm like, nah, bitch, get out of here. Beat
with
it.
a T.
Yeah, period. Get out of here. Scram. Where's my
Fire Willie Green? Fire Willie Green, 10 piece. Gail loving Willie is no surprise. When you think about it in the most basic way, like, oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense since they're both God-fearing people who don't know shit about basketball. I don't appreciate the super chat, brother. DJ Trauma Game, another 5 piece. Two things. One is fan awards. We need to discuss.
Sound it out, Justin.
I was gonna say something crazy. And I didn't say it. We need to do a fan award show. So I need to text the group, like, favorite moment, all that different kind of stuff. We got to vote on, but we're gonna do it the next month or so. I got 2 shows sent to members only. Just when I think I went too far, any show Chaz goes 2,000 yards past me, safe places. Gotta love the members shows. Appreciate all of our members. Shout out to you, 504 boy.
Cole.
I know who DJ Trauma.
Co. No. Hold up. Time out. Co. Someone gave out 20 memberships the other day. 20. And you're telling me you didn't get one?
That was Sam.
Shout out Sam, bro. Like, how have you not gotten one yet?
Yeah, that is crazy. Damn,
like,
that's fucked up.
Like, come on, Co.
They're keeping Co at the back of the bus for some reason. I don't know why either.
Co. All right.
Can't sit here. Co, you need to talk to people, man.
Ted Marshall, super
Since
chat.
she watches Zeus. Yeah. But I watch Jocelyn sometimes. I like Jocelyn Hernandez. My man. Jocelyn, I don't know.
Justin,
who is Jocelyn Hernandez?
Y'all know who Jocelyn Hernandez is?
I do.
I'm talking about Ross and
Chris, this is the bullshit I'm talking about. Chris, this is I don't do this to you. I don't see. I do this to Lito, but for you, to do
She's
this
a
to
part
me,
of pop culture. I just asked if you know who Jocelyn Hernandez is.
I don't know.
How you feel about it?
She's actually she's a princess
she?
of Puerto Rico.
Shout out to Jocelyn.
Michael
What do you want me? What do you want me?
Definitely
Shout out
shout
to
out
Jocelyn.
My dog.
Damn.
Oh man,
Michael.
we appreciate
Fucking-
you, bro.
Oh, y'all play the video.
Nah, I wish Jarrell was running this team.
I didn't even know they were saying Jarrell's name at the beginning of this clip.
Oh yeah,
For a while,
Jarrell.
like in the background, it finally just hit me.
Wait,
Like,
what?
Jarrell
Play
is
it
who we
again.
think Smokey
Play it
Robinson
again.
is.
Play it
Play it
again.
again. Play it
in
again.
the beginning of the clip.
Jarrell.
Say it again, Chad.
Jarrell, yeah. Hold on, let me find it. Shout out to Jarrell and the Rellettes.
Turn the-
Jarrell.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
See, because I didn't
That's
even
a
know his
great
name
song,
was Jarrell.
Chaz. That's man.
Hey,
Shut.
that's who we think Smokey Robinson is.
Shout out Michael Rose. If they keep Willie Green,
What? Damn.
if they keep Willie Green, it's going to be bad. You think any news on the arena upgrades on Tuesday? Chris, we'll go with you.
No. I don't think any arena upgrades will be. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I just like what Gail's statement was damage control. I think all this shit is to get your mind off of their fuck ups. So until I,
My bad.
No.
Go ahead. My bad, Chris. Go ahead. What was it?
Oh,
5?
that one for me. Pause.
Oh, no. Either one of y'all get answered. Like the whole panel get answered. Do y'all think what's happening with the arena, with like even with what's happening with the sports teams? Do y'all think Pelicans basketball is on the brink? Do you think the first domino has been pushed to the end of Pelicans basketball in Louisiana?
No,
at this point, because they desperately need a new arena. Like,
but Chaz, they're making money. Like,
but see,
they are
here's
making
the
money,
thing
and they
though.
don't.
But they making money, but that's their money in the state in the arena. Like, hey, can we get a little? Y'all want to chip in?
So like,
I'll fix this
I guess I want to ask you a question, Chaz. Then, like, how can you? Because this is where I think you're really going to run into a problem. Is are you going to renovate in the middle of the season? Because we all know there's not enough land for a
They did it
new
before.
stadium to be built. When did they do that?
Remember they had the Pelicans practicing with asbestos and
I feel-
drywall and shit. This
feel
happened
Larry-
this preseason.
Oh,
These
you're
motherfuckers.
you're talking about the practice facility.
Yeah,
I don't know
like-
if they can renovate in the middle of a basketball year. It's like, where would they can't relocate anywhere.
It's like Cabrini
For a
Green
season?
projects.
I told y'all where they would go. Great question though, Chaz.
Convention Center?
I think the first domino
No.
has been pushed. I think the
Mm.
first. Now I don't know if it's failed, but it has been pushed. I don't know what you want to. You want to talk about Jeff Landry? You want to talk about what the state like? They gonna want some money. And it's the fact that you just had the Super Bowl and it did so well. I'm pretty sure the NFL wants to bring something like that back. You don't want to put a new stadium too far out. If you're looking at the area where Top Golf was supposed to build a new, which I went to the 504. It's actually
You went?
yes.
I was trying to
we
go
could talk about
Saturday,
it.
bro. I could.
Not-
We'll talk about it off stream.
Yeah.
Off stream.
But-
Talk about it off stream.
If it was, never mind.
like you got different areas of land that you could possibly use. But I think the first domino has been pushed. I don't know if anybody's gonna ask her or I don't know if she talks at the interview with Joe Dumars. Do y'all think so?
Who,
No?
Gail?
Yeah.
She has to.
All right.
I do. I think
Bro,
she got
I think Dennis. I think
She's gotta
Dennis
at
does the
least
introduction,
introduce.
right?
See, and I think that's the one thing that she lost when she fired Griff. Griff would handle all of this. Like he was actually really good at this part.
Yeah.
But I don't think Benzel or anybody else is gonna say something that's gonna, spark any gravitation towards, them building a new arena or anything like that. But I do think the first domino has been pushed.
Huh.
Because here's the thing. While I don't know, I mean, it kind of feels like it's almost impossible. Well, it isn't. It feels impossible with this ownership group basketball success in New Orleans in regards to the franchise moving up. Like, if nothing else, the NBA benefits off of New Orleans in a bunch of different ways, right? Yeah. So it's such a positive event. The NBA is gonna want, one way or another, New Orleans to keep a franchise there. Just All-Star Weekend, man. It's just,
Yep.
I think 5 just missing the Super Bowl. The same for All-Star Weekend. Anything that you can think of. Hell, where are the Pelicans going for in the preseason next year?
Australia.
I think that ain't about how good the basketball team going or how great of an organization it is. To me, that's about what New Orleans is. They want, and I know that there's a decent amount of fans over there now. Shout out to Spaces. But yeah, I think that's always the interesting element anytime we talk about the future and how bad this is and even changing ownership groups and relocation, all these other things. The NBA, just like the NFL, they will always try to, I think, look for a way. It's going to be just a staple, I would assume, going forward, of trying to keep New Orleans with the franchise. It just,
I'm not worried about them relocating. I am worried about the renovation in the Smoothie King Center, though, because that is an actual, like, legit problem.
Because safety has it?
Could be, but even like it wasn't just for basketball. Like, wasn't there concerts like in the last year they had to pull it, like they had to get canceled? Like, dude, like that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money you're losing because big time artists won't come to your city because you can't literally produce a fucking concert stage at the arena. It sucks. But like, I was thinking, like, where could they, if they really went through a renovation of the Smoothie King Center, they can't. I don't think they're gonna be able to do it in halves or quarters, like, because it's already small, right, Jarrett? So I'm thinking, if you are going to do renovations in the Smoothie King Center, where the fuck would the Pelicans play for a year? Baton Rouge?
No, I think you had to build a new stadium. There's
okay. Then we go back to this question: where the hell would you build it? Because people say downtown, there's not enough space.
I told you, right, by Mardi Gras World.
So that's your only option. But like, I think, being on the river would be awesome, but you got to think parking. I know Top Golf is moving right there. Like, you got to move land.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Top Golf moves there. I think you cut into your money by doing so. I don't think it's a really smart business.
That's
they broken ground already.
I asked that question today, Chaz. They haven't.
It just taped off.
It's taped off. Shit. And the Saleh apartments are right to the left of it.
It don't matter if they did break ground. Look what happened.
Because you're gonna need parking.
What was it, Hard Rock Hotel? Yeah, that's another thing. It's like them doing something right and efficient in a timely manner and not cutting any corners. Like, it's just God.
1 year turns to 3.5 years. Like,
but I agree with 5. Even like with all the Superdome I've been in Superdome before Katrina. I went after Katrina. And the aesthetic was a little cooler, but it's like you remember where you're at, like, after a while,
Yeah.
So with the arena, it's like no matter what, they just did a bunch of renovations. So no matter how much you renovate something, like you're talking about, you got to do a gut job, like in there. So it's almost better to have a new arena.
They would have to,
And to be honest, I think that space where you have the Smoothie King Center could be used to actually benefit you long term if you did it the right way, but. That's a topic for another show.
It's actually interesting, Jared. Like, if they did build a new stadium, what would they do with?
You use it for a number of things.
You can use it for development. Right by the Superdome, you just develop that out with businesses, like restaurants, like a bar. Literally,
you got all the time in the world to like upgrade that shit. You could have a major state of the art, whatever you want. Right there,
like what you see outside of like stadiums where they have like those big watch parties and everything like that. You could actually turn, like, I hate Champion Square.
It still exists.
You got me thinking.
Cause that shit was the shit at one time.
Yeah,
and it was like a thing. Yeah.
How many? Because now I'm thinking, how many cities have that have multiple teams have their stadiums right next to each other?
Philadelphia is definitely one. Cleveland's 2.
Detroit.
Detroit's 3.
Detroit has all theirs right next to each other.
Right next to each other.
That's dope.
KC's away. I'm trying to think. Miami's separated. Chad, help us out if you think.
You talking about just basketball or just?
No, just say
Like,
like
the-
Madison, like even New York. Madison Square
Baltimore.
Garden.
Baltimore. They got the Orioles. They played next to Raymond
MT
James
Bank Stadium or Raymond
Okay.
James. So that's 4.
Okay.
What about Tampa, Ross?
No, that the baseball stadium was in
Say
St.
Oakland.
Petersburg.
yeah.
Oakland only got one team.
Hey,
Oakland
was
ain't
St.
got,
Louis-
Oakland ain't got no team no more.
Was San Francisco, right? No.
Oakland
Was St.
is,
Louis
away
Stadium Cardinals and Rams at one point or no?
I don't. Oh, that's a good question. I don't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't because Rams had a dome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a dome.
Yeah.
I don't know where that dome was. I don't think it was next to Bush.
Anyways, whoever asked that question was Dallas. Yep.
The reason I
It
asked
used
though,
to be. Yeah. Eddie, good call.
the reason I asked though, and it could just be, I'm not saying it's hyperbole, but just looking how things have trended, it's like y'all can't do nothing right, and the Saints not even like the saving grace anymore. So
Right.
depending on how this upcoming draft goes, right, then let's say you do, regardless of them keeping Zion or not, you're going to see a season ticket decline. Like that was happening, right? Let's say you do move them and you get back, I don't know. Let's say you get back Devin Vassell or some shit like that, right? So you got back Devin Vassell and a number 8 pick, something stupid, right? Now it's like, all right, I'm good. I am good, right? And we've seen it happen in other ways, like ESPN kind of left New Orleans, that let it kind of creeping out of New Orleans a bit. Like you just seen other indicators to where you're like, okay, national games ain't really there no more. Like, you're seeing several indicators that say, you could this could become a thing. Like,
See,
But sorry, Joe. I wanted to address this question from Squallow. I hope I pronounced that right. But if you were to renovate the Smoothie King Center, it seats what, 15,000? Did you say 17,000? So you're looking. I mean, if you're gonna do it, like you have to get it done in a year. I would hope year and a half. Like you would think you have to do one half of a section one time, and the other half that takes a while.
Where the fuck
know.
was this hockey team supposed to play at? That they was like rumored. Where was that going to happen at?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're gonna change the floors.
You're gonna have to build a new stadium.
That is your best bet, like because that has been, you've seen that blueprint a million times where teams playing in the in their home court field, whatever it may be, and the building's being built right there. Then once they finish, they just move right over next door. That's the best bet, Jared. But like your only spots downtown, as you mentioned, is Mardi Gras World. Like I know you had mentioned the East a while back, but like
Nobody.
where okay,
Like
so
going
like,
east.
Nobody going to.
exactly. So where the hell? So we keep saying build a new stadium. Like,
What about a convention center?
No,
No,
we
Well,
have
you
a
can-
convention center.
Who needs one?
They need one. They need one.
Nah,
They need one.
nah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
It's like the
Yeah,
highest
it's
utilization
like,
of convention
you need-
centers in the country. They're not doing nothing with the convention
Yeah.
center other than hosting
Yeah,
conventions.
you need the convention center more than you need a basketball team
Yes.
in New Orleans.
Oh God,
Yep,
yes.
yep,
Oh
yep.
God, yes.
So,
Like, yeah,
in
you
New
need that building.
Orleans,
Don't touch
yeah.
the building.
They got to do something though, Robert. Right? I mean, first domino is that's interesting, but I mean, shit, like I don't know if we said it already, but just think about like the concerts that have been canceled and like
Drake,
people that
Ice
won't even,
Cube.
right,
Y'all remember
right.
the leaks that were happening in the roof? They had to cancel the game.
There you
Like,
go.
Yeah, I remember. that.
Like
I wish
people
I
that
was there.
say that just wait,
They'd have to cancel the season.
Chad's looking for a check.
my leg. Ow!
But I just think about the like the artists that say like the Smoothie King Arena is not it's not good enough. It's not a place that's built for
Right.
some of these concerts and some of these high production events that take place. So
That's truly the problem. It's not necessarily like they can't fit enough people or people don't want to come. No, it's acoustically not pleasing to the ear. Even when you be in the Smoothie King Center, you'll hear them announce like it doesn't sound great. Like artists can't hear themselves when they're performing, and that's a big problem for them. Drake canceled the initial stop because he couldn't have all of the things he needed to perform at his set. So that's really the problem.
That's why they do Essence in the Superdome. Like they have Prince in the Superdome, Naughty by Nature, and the New Orleans Arena. Y'all ready? That with OPP, you know. Can't hear shit.
All right, we'll do a couple more and get out of here. So let's see. Keith, why not an MLB team in NOLA? It wouldn't unless there's a roof over it. Like you can't play outside New Orleans in the summer. Even though Louisiana has a big baseball following, obviously how well LSU does, even Tulane's had success as well.
Is the Rays stadium closed?
So they got crushed by the hurricane, so they had to move to St. Petersburg, I think, where the Yankees train. So they're using their train, but they don't have like a home, like they don't have like a stadium right now. That's in limbo as well.
So how they play home games?
But no. Oh, sorry, they do play in a dome. I'm sorry, they do play in a dome.
Oh, okay.
But like Tampa.
Yeah, but it ain't like a really good dome.
Yeah, Tropicana is we know where they're playing right now.
And Houston plays in the dome also, right?
So Houston, so they've always played in dome. So Texas they built that ballpark in Arlington, this huge stadium, and they only used it for 20 years. And like during the summer, it was so hot they couldn't like play baseball games. So they're like, dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here. They built an entire new stadium, and it's indoor, retractable roof, just like Miami. Like if you're a deep South team, you got to have a indoor facility. Once again, where the fuck are you going to build it? Where would you build it?
Moron Mountain, here we come.
The Shrine on Airline.
I did hear recently, and I know it's weird because I think the Superdome might technically be owned by the state.
Yes,
but I did hear recently that the operator, ASM or ASM Global or whatever, I think has bought up a bunch of stuff around the dome. So I don't know how public that is, but
breaking news on this show.
But yeah, so I don't know whether that is meant to.
Yeah, what is that? Like,
yeah,
what is that implying?
like
clay bomb?
No. Like that some of those like sort of old, like almost blighted properties, basically between the Superdome and like the interstate.
Yes,
and
no, exactly where the med school is.
Yeah.
No, like all right, you have that crappy garage right across from Champion Square, like next to the Smoothie King Arena.
Like when you walking up Smoothie King Arena to the right.
Yeah, and then you've got like that like walkway over the that goes over the thing, and then there's like maybe a real old like mail facility or something back over there. The stuff all in there is what I was told.
But what does this imply? What do you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they operate the Superdome and the Smoothie King Arena, and they've now like made the investment in properties around there. I don't know what it means. I truly don't. I'm just telling you what I heard.
I just can't see Gail. I'm like Joe Dumars, like rocking the boat at this stage, just because 61 years old. It's the dynamic is a little funny looking. And then it's like Gail's notoriously cheap. She just, did a dine and dash with some shit earlier this year that was reported on. It's like, like you're like notoriously, allegedly notoriously neglectful of bills. So it's like, man,
can you be allegedly notoriously something? Can you be those two things?
Look,
can you be notoriously allegedly something?
I'll go a step further. You're reportedly allegedly notoriously known for these supposedly word on the street. These dine and dashes.
So she's Nikki Barnes.
Oh, she's like, man, that's how it's looking, bro. Because I'm just crazy. Like, that was a big story earlier this year, or was it last year? The story that Christian put out that the other guy stole. It was like, yo, where's my money? Where's my money?
They actually legitimately stole too. All right, we'll get out of here. So hour and a half. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the super chats. And most importantly, appreciate all the sponsors that support this show and follow our background as always. Now that we have, we're missing Lito, but once again, shout out to Jarrett, Crescent City Classic, absolutely crushed it. Did you finish in 158th place? Is that right, Jared? Out of 17,000? 152nd. I'm sorry about the disrespectful comment. 152nd out of 17,000, Jared. That's fucking awesome, dude. Happy
17,000 people?
Yeah. Happy Easter. And
That's elite.
Yep. Make sure you smash the like button. It is elite. That's pretty crazy.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine.
We're going live
running.
Tuesday. So we're going live Tuesday instead of Wednesday this week, going live Tuesday, then live Sunday. But then we will be regularly going live Wednesdays and Sundays. What, Chaz?
What's Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Draft Wednesday?
No.
Why is
Tuesday.
it Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
We have the Joe Dumars live breakdown.
Oh, I forgot all about
shit, you
Joe.
weren't on the show. You weren't
Forgot
on the
about
show.
Joe Clark.
Yeah, so we'll be live around 8:00 to recap the press conference on Tuesday. Appreciate everybody. We'll see y'all on Tuesday.